Hi, this is Shannon Port, and I welcome you today to this live video, this Google Hangout. And the topic, the name of our call today, the name of the video today, is gratitude activating the heart's magnet. Gratitude activating the heart's magnet. And so we are recording this video about 1 week before the holiday Thanksgiving in the West. And today is November 19th, 2015. And we have all kinds of things happening in our world right now, and all kinds of demonstrations happening on our planet right now that would tell us that this is a time to have anything but gratitude, that this is a time to be angry, that this is a time to feel the chaos, to feel the discord, and to not appreciate the things that we have in our life. And it's one of the reasons that these very things are happening. Because when we don't have gratitude for the abundance that we have been given, and most importantly, the life that we have been given, because the life is the goddess, we turn our back on our very own power, and we shut down the magnet that is in our heart that we have been given to create absolutely everything that we need. And so today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about those things. And so I don't know if I said this already, but the feeling of gratitude is the most powerful feeling that we have, the most powerful frequency that we can create in our heart for creating abundance, and for creating not only material abundance, but spiritual abundance and spiritual wisdom and power as well. Gratitude is, above all, it's a feeling, and it's not only a state of heart, but it's a state of mind. So when we have gratitude, we're bringing our mind and heart into resonance with one another, and they begin to work together to magnetize the substance of creation that pours through the inner plane into the outer plane. And we're going to talk a little bit about how that happens. But first, I want to talk about what's going on in the world, and I want to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving. So we are right now, and this is some of the teachings that I work with at Art of the Feminine. By the way, if you're seeing a video of mine for the first time, I work with Art of the Feminine, and these are some of the teachings that we're really working with at this time. We are taking our initiation in love on planet Earth right now. Not only the Earth itself, but all humanity and all beings in this dimension, on this Earth. We are being given a chance to ascend in the way that we connect to love through our heart center, and how we use that to activate all of the centers in our body. And so a lot of the discord that we're seeing right now is pointing us in that direction to continue to look within and to continue to search for the infinite power of creation and creativity and love that lives within us. So Thanksgiving is a holiday celebrated in the outer world. And I know that a lot of us, when we come into the spiritual path, and when we come into our own awakening and our own realization of some of the illusions that we live in, and some of the discord and some of the manipulations that have happened in this world, a lot of people tend to feel turned off to holidays for a couple of reasons. Because the holidays have been tend to be very commercialized, And so they become about something other than connecting with the true meaning of the holiday. They become very commercialized, and so they take us outside of the state of gratitude and into the state of consuming and activating the five senses of the desire force into wanting to collect things from the outer world in order to feel whole and to feel good on those holidays. And they also are easy targets for being manipulated, because when you get a mass consciousness together working around one idea, just like we see in religion, like we see in politics, and like we see in politics, it makes it easier to gather up the energy of that collective and steer it in a direction. And so when we lose our conscious connection to the reason that we gather and the reason that we celebrate, we can be manipulated, and our attention and the powers of love and celebration that we feel for those times can be taken into another direction. Like, let's say, consumerism, materialism, and even on the another part of that, they can even be taken into depression and isolation and anxiety. And we see all of those things that happen around the times of the holidays, around the times when we're all coming together to celebrate events that are actually very significant. And so we're going to talk about that. So we have chaos, we have depression, we have consumerism, materialism, we have the discordant energies that come up in our families, within our own emotional bodies of our families that are working things out. And we have, there was one more thing. There's one more thing, and I'll see if it comes back. The truth of these points, these powerful points in the solar year, on the timeline, is that they are meant to activate us and send us inward in order to receive the initiation that takes place on the inner plane. Throughout the year, there are very significant points on the solar year, on the timeline, that give us an opportunity to go inward in a very deep way and be initiated into a deeper level of love and receiving and creating, a deeper level of working with all of who we are. And so Thanksgiving, some very important points on that timeline start in December, but Thanksgiving is leading up to December. And so in a way, it's meant to prepare us for that time by putting us in a state of gratitude. The original Thanksgiving, and there's lots of stories around it, but was it the very core essence of the spiritual meaning of Thanksgiving was to give thanks for the harvest from Gaia. It was to give thanks for the food and the abundance that is generated from the earth itself, our earth mother, and the sustenance that we are given to celebrate life and to nourish our bodies. And in even the deeper meaning of that is that we receive and extract the solar force, the energy of the sun that comes through our food, working with the goddess, the earth, and then producing the harvest. And then we take it in and we grow our bodies. But not only do we grow our bodies in our consciousness, we transmute this body, and we're raising it and evolving it into something that is filled with more and more light, and something that is very similar to what some of our greatest teachers and avatars on this planet have experienced and shown us through the examples of their own lives. So the word Thanksgiving alone, thanks, we're giving thanksgiving. When we give thanks and when we have gratitude, we give. The truth is that feeling gratitude allows our heart to begin to generate like the goddess and give forth. The original state of the heart of the goddess in birthing life is gratitude. And gratitude has the very same gematria as the word love. Love and gratitude are interchangeable. They're the same frequency, but love and divine love is sometimes feels more abstract in the consciousness that we're in now. We know about it and we talk about it, but how do we really access it? Gratitude, on the other hand, gives us something tangible to wrap our feeling force around. So when we feel, it's the same way as the Empress wraps her heart around the zygote, the fertilized egg within her womb when she's preparing to grow a body for a soul to enter into the human experience. There's a deep feeling of gratitude when she understands what's taking place and then begins to generate more and more of what is needed to build the vehicle for that life. And we're going to talk about that too. So when we are giving thanks, we begin to give. It's automatic. We thank. One of the highest frequencies and states that we can be in, and this is really important at this time right now when we see so much happening in the world and we see so many people that don't have food, that do not have shelter, that don't have the power of using their mind without it being so highly influenced by other forces that would like to take over its sovereignty. It's really important for us to give praise and thanks and have gratitude for life itself. Life with a capital L. When we wake up in the morning and the first thing we feel is a divine connection with life and the ultimate feeling of thanksgiving for being given life, we automatically attune ourselves to the goddess, to the divine mother, and to the very center, the core of creation. When we do this, our own heart center becomes a microcosm of her generating power, and we instantly align ourselves with the power to create. Having thanks and giving the power of our feelings to the higher octave of our own being by having gratitude for life allows us to create a reciprocal force with the goddess, with the divine mother, and with our higher self, with the higher octave of our own being, which could also be called the ascended host and the ascended angelic host. So the legions of the angelic host that actually are in charge of giving forth the elemental forces of creation. We become resonant with that power when we have gratitude for life. We open up the connection to the inner part of our own being, and all creation truly, truly starts from within. And now we're going to talk a little bit about why that's so. So we are in what in some of the spiritual and metaphysical teachings is called the age of the heart. This is the age of the heart, and in some ways we can call it the age of the divine feminine. And the reason that is so is because we are remembering the creative powers of the heart, the sacred heart within us that was given to us through the very center of creation in our galaxy, the great central sun, which is also known as the womb and the heart of the goddess. When we feel gratitude, we become aligned with the very first creation that took place. And so this is the creation. We'll talk a little bit about the archetypal energy of how we were birthed through the light. And this is not only what the goddess did, but this is what we do when we align with her power. The beginning of creation happen through the feeling force and through the power of the heart. It happened through the heart, and it happened through feeling, and it happened through breath. There was a feeling that rose up from within the great cosmic egg, the great womb, the great void. There was a powerful feeling that rose up from within the goddess. And as she began to feel, she began to move, and she began to, and this is the way I've been shown it through my own work, she began to inhale and to take in. She breathed in, and in the act of breathing in was magnetized. She became magnetism, and she became the living, beating heart. She became then the projection of the God source that exists beyond creation. So we have the unknowable beginning, which we can't even really put words on, but the mother energy was what was projected from the unknowable. And that is why when we think of the Divine Mother, we think of her powers that govern all of creation, all of the cosmic, all of the words of power. She gave birth to the cosmos and to all of the galaxies, all of the systems, all of the planets, the stars, the life, and to the human race and to the Christic force as well. It came from a feeling. And so the reason we're so connected to this feeling is because it was a deep feeling of gratitude for being. There was nothing to own, there was nothing to buy, there was nothing to have. It was just simply gratitude for life itself, for being alive. Life is the Divine Mother. Life with a capital L is the Divine Mother. And the breath that comes from life, it falls under her domain as well. And so when she breathed in that moment of breathing in, there was profound gratitude. In that pause, there was profound reverence. And through gratitude came an emanation. It came a giving, the thanks, the gratitude, and the giving of all that is. It's so big. She birthed the stars, and she birthed the planets, and she birthed life itself through that moment of having deep gratitude for life. It's the original state of who we are. From that center point, from that divine sacred fire that was the beginning spark of the goddess, she birthed all that surrounds her. And so it's that we are the microcosm of that in our auric field. We have that divine spark, that incorruptible atom of life that she is planted in each and every one of us. It's our spirit, and it's our logos. It's our I am power within our heart. And it works very closely with our centers in our mind and in our will as well. Through that spark, we project through our feeling force all that is our auric field. So if you can imagine the center being the heart, that bubble of light that's around us, our field of light, which we can see, we know we can see, even science recognizes that we live in an auric field, is our own microcosm of the cosmos. And when we feel, and when we emanate in the same way that she did, we create our reality through that. We create through what are the elemental forces that come through the angelic luminous beings of light. And those luminous beings are birthed out of the core, the great central sun within the heart of the galaxy. And then we have that also planted within our own heart. And so it's profound, and it's so connected with this time of year. And so there's a week until Thanksgiving right now. And so the reason I wanted to make this video is just to really remember why we give thanks. And so this holiday is celebrated in the West. This is a holiday primarily in Canada and the United States, but there are similar traditions around the world. And it's important that we don't don't snub it, and that we don't say, oh, I can give thanks anytime, or oh, this is just a commercialized holiday. There's a reason that we come together at this time. It's very synchronized with what's happening in our world right now, and with how some of the forces of light are coming in and helping us to make really big changes this year and next year, really big changes. And so by connecting with gratitude, we can harness the power from within and use what are known as the waters of life. The waters of life contain the solar force, and they contain the elemental fire power of creation. When we are in a true state of gratitude, we command the elements. And that is one of the high teachings of the wisdom, of Sophia's wisdom, is understanding that we are like her, and we are her. And in fact, because we are part of Gaia, and Gaia Sophia, the earth goddess itself, which is the polarity to the divine mother. Polarity meaning that we are creating with her. There is the above and the below, the ascended and the physical, spirit and matter. And because we are working together through that figured eight, we are asked to create and resonate with her as she creates. We can feel gratitude through our ego. We can feel gratitude for our personality, and those are fine places to start. We can start being thankful for basic things. And I say that kind of laughing, but we all have had times where we really wanted something. We wanted to not get in trouble for something we did wrong as a little kid, and we got our way. And so we said, oh, thank you, God, thank you, Goddess, for not letting me get in trouble. Or we wanted to attract something, or we wanted to attract a person, and so we said, thank you. Or we wanted something good for dinner, or we wanted our mom to bake us a certain dessert or something like that, and we got it, and so we felt thank you. We felt gratitude, and that's one level of Thanksgiving, and it's a great place to start. The more we get used to being thankful, the more we begin to understand that there's a gratitude on the inner plane, and that gratitude is our, it's our greatest power. And that gratitude is the gratitude for life itself and for love itself. And when we have that kind of gratitude, we immediately begin to see through the illusion. We begin to penetrate the veil and understand that we are all one. It activates unity consciousness, and it activates the magnet in our heart. And so, as in the word Thanksgiving, we begin to serve. We begin to serve the planet. And most of us that have woken up, that are waking up and have woken up, know that that's what we're here to do. We're here to heal ourselves, and we're also here to serve, to give our service, and to share our creative genius with the world. Every one of us has our own signature and our own creative genius to offer this world and to offer this experience. There's no two alike. And so even though many of us are doing similar things, and we have this illusion of competition, there is no competition when we're sounding our own note. Each one of us are a note in this brilliant symphony of life. And that's one of the reasons it's so powerful for us to make sure that we are seeking our own expression and our own identity. It doesn't mean we're not inspired from everything around us, but when we react to the outer, it takes us away from the truth of our inner. We want to see the outer and take it in and breathe in like the goddess. But when we breathe in and take a breath, we then connect what we see on the outer with the truth of our own inner. We stop being reactionary. When we react and when we just lash out, or when we just do things in response to what we see, we're missing some of our own power. We miss that moment of gratitude. When we see something in the outer world and we're really inspired by it, and that's why seeing the arts and watching music and theater and dance and going to museums where there's really high frequency good stuff is so good for us, because it puts our heart in a state of reverence and gratitude. And when we have that and we pause, we don't want to do what we see. We want to connect with our own version of that. And so we take the inspiration, we go within, and spirit then generates our own power onto the screen of consciousness. So going back to the pleroma and going back to how we first created, when we were the original divine impulse of creation, the feeling of gratitude that came through the goddess heart created all that is. It splashed things onto the screen of consciousness. In the sacred tarot, the screen of consciousness is the high priestess, key 2. She's the screen, she's the Akash and the waters of life that are everything that came from this magnetism, from the central core flame, that flame of divine love and divine miraculous miracles and life power. That projection created all that is. And so then that projection becomes a mirror. All of us have a mirror surrounding us that is the mirror to our own feeling force. And that's why it's really important, and we're going to talk about that in the last part of this video, of why it's really important for us to heal our feeling force and heal our emotional body so that we can remember how to reach those states of gratitude. I jot so many things down, so I'm just kind of looking to see what I want to say. I want to connect this with some archetypes. So we're giving birth. When we feel gratitude, we give. We give birth. We give to creation through the light that comes to us through the higher octave. It puts us, we think of our higher self in spiritual teachings. We think of the ascended host, which is what makes the Christic body and the body of the Christ that's coming through us and giving us more and more light to work with. That beautiful part of our own being is able to reach us energetically when we have this feeling. It doesn't mean that all other feelings are bad, but when we have gratitude for our life, it happens. They can tune right in. And they meaning the other part of ourself, because there's really nothing other than our own self and our own greater self. But that part of our being is able to come through and work through us. And that's why I always like to see it as, it's like lining up, and this is even a mudra, it's like lining up the, it's really the suns. We're lining up our sun with the mediator sun, with the great central sun, so that the energy can flow through, and feelings are what do that. And gratitude is one of the main ones. So we'll talk about the figured 8. The main archetypes of gratitude in the sacred tarot, and you know I work with the archetypes, so I love to bring these in because this is really big. The Empress archetype, key 3, and key 3 is also the Trinity. Key 3 is the powers of life, because we're talking about the trinitized soul prism. Key 3, the Empress, represents the feminine force coming into mating with all that is to create life and to create not only in the spiritual, but in the physical and in the divine as well. The Empress represents that. She is the doorway. She is Dalet. She is the doorway into creation. And so her power of desire, this has a lot to do with the desire force. Her power of desiring is activated through gratitude. When we have gratitude, her desire to serve and to give wells up within her. The true desire is the desire to align with the divine. We have our sensual desires and they serve us and they're beautiful, but when we align our desire with divine will and with the will of our soul, which is what the Empress stands for, the power of the mother being aligned with the power of the above, we begin to birth. It's the coming through the circle and giving birth into life, and it comes through within and comes into the without, and splashes our auric field and makes the pictures that we see on the screen. We draw from the elemental forces within, and then the elemental forces without They respond to our command, and our command is love and gratitude. They're responding to that, and they love that. The elemental forces in this world, which are used not only by the light, but by the dark as well, love when we are in that state. It's been manipulated, and we're going to finish in a few minutes on how we can reverse that manipulation. But the Empress is the feeling force. She's the creative imagination, and she's divine love. She's Venus. Venus rules the archetype of the Empress, and Venus rules the command of the Christic force, the Christ force. So it's Christ Sophia. It's the union of the soul and the spirit in its full power on earth, preparing for the ascension. It's so powerful. So it's desire. We won't mess around. Desire is what creates, but it depends on what we desire, what we create. And gratitude helps us to align with one of the highest frequencies of desire. We'll talk about key 8, but I'm going to talk about key 10 because the Wheel of Fortune is also really big. So we think about the wheel, the circle. We're on the wheel and we're in the zodiac right now, but the wheel is governed by the center. The wheel is, when we're in the goddess force, we're in the sun. We're in the center of the wheel. We're not flinging ourselves around. The outer wheel waxes and wanes. It goes up and it goes down. It goes up and it goes down. And in the sacred tarot, we have the 4 creatures representing in the corner, representing the 4 elemental forces of earth, fire, air, and water. But it's the higher force of spirit and the etheric force that comes through spirit that commands those elements. And that archetype of the Wheel of Fortune, fortune tells us that we create our own fortune when we command the law of rotation from the center. The center is the power, and we are returning to the center so that we can understand how to use our feelings. There are a lot of discordant feelings that happen when we're in the outer. There's a lot of terror, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of beauty as well, but that beauty waxes and wanes. It's never permanent. What we see on the outer comes and goes, and it comes and goes. And there's good things that come and go, and we can enjoy them, but there's also very challenging and hard things that come and go. And so as we journey in through our initiations, through the solar year, we begin to understand that our true gift lies in the center, and that's where the divine sacred fire magnetizes us. It turns us into magnets so that we can call forth, really the same thing. The power of the luminous ones that are helping us and serving us and helping to create harmony and balance on the earth at this time. And so just taking a moment to really honor that we are in a time when we are being asked to use the power of love and the power of gratitude to create goodness and balance, to help heal the sick, feed the poor, and heal ourselves. By healing ourselves, we can't take the mentality or the idea that there's something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with us, but we have much more than we are demonstrating. We are not at the mercy of the dark and the sinister force and some of the evil that encapsulates and tries to take over. We're not at the mercy of that. That's a lie. And we have the power right now. There are greater energies coming to help us as in the collective, we're creating an energy that's bringing that in. But right now, each and every one of us has the ability to know the truth within our own heart. And the truth, there's only one truth. The truth is that we are one, and the truth is that we are one and fully connected with our own source of creation, with God, with Goddess, and with the power, the same powers as I do, you shall do. It's very, very true. All of the great avatars have told us that everything I do, you shall do, and much more. We all have it within us. in order to access that power, we need to align with humility, and gratitude takes us into humility. As you know, when you're thankful for your food, and when you're thankful for love, and when you're thankful for warmth and a place to sleep at night, and when you're thankful for conversation with loved ones, and when we're thankful for beauty, we become humble, and we know that not only are we the most powerful force in the world, but we are also humble before life. Life is the great principle that has created all of this. And when we're humble before life, we understand the secrets of life, the great secrets, and they're no longer secrets. Life will lift her veil. Venus will lift her veil when we're ready to honor in our fullness. So the creative imagination and feelings are the Empress. The Wheel of Fortune is the Empress. In the Sacred Tarot, the Archetype 3, and I teach this in my course, works through the Wheel of Fortune. Venus and the goddess, the Empress, knows how to generate. She knows how to turn that wheel. It's called the law of rotation. And she knows without a doubt how to create. And that's why our powers have been sought after and manipulated, because we have the power to create. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. We spin the elements. We are the spinners. We are the spirals of creation. And creation itself shows us that through her grand patterns, how powerful the spiral is and how powerful the circle is. The ultimate realization of the Empress creating through the Wheel of Fortune is the star, is revelation. And what the star represents is the depths of the subconscious mind. So we have the region, the waters of life, the waters, the great water. The water is the subconscious and the soul and the divine feminine. But within the waters of life are the sparks of the solar fire and the solar power, the Holy Spirit. When in the star archetype, we see that the Empress has spun the wheel and has worked through the elements, through the center, through the sun, in order to raise the frequency of the waters and to bring forth and birth the 7 stars of light, activating the 7 chakras in the human vehicle and bringing us into an entirely different consciousness. The other thing I wanted to say is that life is consciousness. Life itself is consciousness. So the goddess birthed consciousness. Consciousness is a screen onto which we are the artists and which we birth and create our reality. And it's important for us to remember that right now in a huge way. All right, so we're going to talk about how we can heal our feeling force and heal the emotional body in order to serve the planet right now in a way that is profound. Just making sure that I got to all of this. So some of the highest feelings that we can have gratitude for, just to start, the power to move, the power to feel alone is a reason to be grateful. The power to move. Movement is life, and the fact that we can move is reason to have gratitude for many reasons. There was for many reasons. And the power to connect with our source and the limitless light and the Holy Spirit. Having gratitude for these things begins to change our body and change our mind and make us ready to go to a higher place. So we are healing the feeling body through our breath, because breath is part of gratitude. We have to breathe. Within one breath, we can come into that state of mind and heart. It's important to remember that the goddess creates through breath. And so we too, our heart breathes, and our heart also pumps the blood, which is pumping the elements. Our mind serves our heart by creating and generating images. And then the images are felt in the heart. We have a feeling for the images, and then we create our life. We're healing our feeling bodies because the feeling that's been manipulated and misused on this planet is fear. Fear is a primal feeling, and that fear of separation that we had originally when we were cast from the center, we felt an original primal fear. And so fear is it helps us to navigate certain things. It helps us to do in our animal instinctual body. And so we need to sometimes have a little fear, even as deep as you go. And I can say this from my own experience, as much as we meditate, as much as we go into oneness, we're still being initiated on different levels of not feeling fear. There's still little things that can get to all of us where we may be able to remain calm in very heightened situations, but there may be still that one little thing that still makes us, and one of those things that we're being prepared for is to actually see the unseen. Because for many of us, even on the spiritual path, seeing the unseen produces a kind of fear that we are transmuting in order to be able to make that happen in a greater way. And the ascended beings are helping us to do that, to calm and balance our nervous system so that we're able to actually interact with them in a really pure way. And purity and harmony of the heart are two of the ways that we can do that. And so I'm only going to go a few more minutes, but I just want to talk about healing the feeling body. We're healing fear. Fear is used and manipulated in human beings because human beings, we have the potential to feel, and that makes us divine. We can feel. We're not just animals. We don't just respond instinctually. We have what's called the power of intuition. We can feel on a very high level. So there's the animal instinct, and there's an animal kind of intuition, which is a very earthy, in the body kind of intuition. But we have intuition of the soul, which is our intuition to go straight into the core, straight into the center. And that power is highly, highly valuable. That is the power that creates everything that exists. The way we create with that feeling in the physical form is through our 5 senses, through our desire force and our tastes and our appetites. For example, our appetite to eat and eat food, our appetite to merge and mate sexually with another human being, our appetites to consume and to collect things. We want to collect things that are beautiful and we want to own things. And that comes from our desire nature. We think we want to go shopping and buy something because it's beautiful and we think we should have it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But so there's also a desire to control and a desire to have power. There's an instinctual desire to dominate and have power, but there's a divine instinct as well to have power, the divine will, which is another frequency of power. It's a power that's aligned and in balance. Our desire to conquer and have power in the earth, in our body, is important because we have to learn how to connect with that. But when it's out of balance and discordant, it becomes the desire of the fallen patriarchy, which we see right now. We see the world, we see governments and nations and militaries and religions that want to control people. They want to harness their power for their own good to create. And there's a reason for that. People who can feel like human beings, we feel, and when we give our feeling power away, we're giving our power to create away. The sinister force on the planet, the dark force that is always in existence, wants to wrap a human soul, a human being, in the darker energies in order to keep us addicted, in order to keep us distracted, in order to keep us feeling insecure and fearful, like we don't have enough or like we're insignificant. It also works through low self-worth, and we see this, how it damaged the feminine and the emotional body through low self-worth and through feeling lack of power and low self-worth. So when it traps us in that frequency, we're still connected. We have to still be connected because they don't want us if we're not connected. We still can feel, and it's important that we can feel, because if we go without feeling, we're not much use. We can still feel, but we're now feeling through the carnal desires and through the lower natures only. And we begin to get really fooled by this illusion. We begin to have great fear. over what we see happening. And there's a way to respond to what we see happening, even all the dreadful things we see happening, without being fearful. We begin to believe that the outer controls the inner, which is absolutely not true. The outer does not control the inner. It's the opposite. The inner controls the outer. We begin to feel as if our privileges will be taken, we won't have food, we won't have shelter, our basic needs, and we see this happening, and it perpetuates, get more and more people giving the irony of it is that when we see these things, seeing from the brain and from the ego perpetuates the story and makes it grow. And that's why it's really important for us to know that there's another way to see things, and there's another vision. And in the tarot, vision is the way out of the devil. Key 15 shows us the bondage, but true vision, which is a gift of Saturn, gives us the ability to see through and generate our own truth. We are being asked at this time to connect with gratitude and the power of gratitude. Gratitude for life and gratitude for, if you can see me right now and you can watch this video and you're able to understand it, and you have even the privilege of having the internet and a home and food to eat, you have everything you need. You have every single thing you need right now. All the power that ever was or ever will be is here right now inside you, ready to be accessed. That's the only truth. And there's a saying, this is the truth about the self. Start by knowing that power. And the first thing we can do is give thanks for that power. In the gnosis, the knowing, the divine knowing of that power alone is the power itself. Once we know that, we can begin to act and we can begin to connect in deeper ways. When we are connected with gratitude through our heart and through the inner plane, it's wonderful to be thankful for all the things at the outer, but as we move that frequency in, we begin to become a conduit for the higher octave of our being. Remember the figured 8, and 8 is strength. Within the tarot, you got to appreciate these archetypes so much. We are shown that the figured 8 allows us to harness the power of emotions and desire of the goddess herself, and the power of the instinctual body as well. And we begin to be able to flow with it. We begin to be able to exchange the instinctual with the intuitive, and we begin to create the merge, which meets right in the center of the figured 8, the heart. Another thing to remember is that the heart is the esoteric number of the 8 is the esoteric number of the heart. 8 represents the power of the law of suggestion. It represents mastering the desire force and the emotions. And so it's so important when we give thanks, we can know the power of unity right now, and we can know the power of manifesting not only spiritual abundance, but material abundance. We're meant to create, and this is the truth. This is the truth that needs to be said to end this video. We are meant to have material abundance. We're not meant to suffer. Suffering can wake us up, and in that way it's very, very powerful, but only until we get to the point where we know it's okay to have material abundance. We don't have to be in the frenzy of Black Friday after Thanksgiving, going out and buying things because they're less expensive or cheaper. That's a lie. Even playing into that idea that things are cheap, so we have to go buy them because otherwise we couldn't create them. It's a lie. It doesn't mean we can't go shopping on Black Friday if we need a new computer or a new something or another. But don't do it with the mindset that you're getting something from the outer. The outer does not give you anything. You generate it from within, as the Empress generates life. And as she feels gratitude, when she feels that fertilized egg within her, the fertilized egg is the vision and the feeling. Nothing happens without a feeling. We have a vision through the creative imagination, and then we feel it. and we project it onto the screen of our own auric field. And it's divine. And we can serve, we can help people with our words. We can help people. Our own aura becomes a healing field. Through this power, we connect with life. We connect with the Shakti force, and we not only connect with it, we command it. We connect with divine love, which, remember, divine love is a state of gratitude. That's what divine love is. When we're in a state of gratitude, we cannot hate anybody. And there's one more thing I have to say about healing emotions. I just remembered this. When we're in a state of gratitude, we cannot feel hate. We cannot feel anger. We cannot feel rage. I want to say something really important. Hate, anger, and rage are all part of the catharsis that we go through when we're healing, and we're meant to feel those, but we're not meant to be stuck in the loop. If we're stuck in the loop of feeling rage or feeling jealousy or feeling competitive or feeling anger, then we're in the repetitive loop. The way to use those feelings, the way we know when it's working properly is when we have those feelings, a moment of rage or a moment of anger, and then afterwards there's a calm. And we feel grateful for the purge and for the catharsis. If we spin about it for days and days, we're either trapped in it or we're taking a longer time to get into the birth of the calm after the storm. Those feelings are meant to be, we are meant to have those feelings on some level, but if they're being regenerated over and over, we're being manipulated, and we have to stop and let it go and go in. The best way to let them go is to say thank you for these feelings of rage and anger and fear. May they teach me everything that the goddess wants me to know through my heart right now, so that I can transmute them into the true power of my soul. And then you'll see that they start raising over and over again. And so we're meant to have the catharsis, and we're meant to move into the higher octave. The higher octave is not going to hate or rage in the first place. It's holding balance. It's holding harmony through love. Thank yourself for everything, absolutely everything, and mean it. When something triggers you, say thank you. Thank you for this trigger. Show me where I am to go from here. And we get triggered, and we get triggered a lot when we're going through our initiations. But every time we get triggered, rather than we react, there's a time to react, but soon we'll see that what we create from a reaction fades away really quick. It might have power in the moment, but it doesn't last. We're meant to, if we get triggered, say thank you for this trigger. Show me what I need to know. And take a deep breath in. First exhale it all out, and then take a deep breath in. Put your hand on your heart and hold the breath. And have gratitude. And then exhale and let the realization of the divine be born. We can do this with everything, especially with what's happening right now. It's a very crucial time on our planet. It's a lot of energy trying to work against the power of love and the power of sovereignty. This energy wants us to have a certain amount of power, but it doesn't want us to have real power. Real power is unity. There is enough for everybody in this world. And at Thanksgiving, remember, it's a lie that we don't have enough. We have enough food, we have enough shelter, enough water, enough resources. We have everything we need, and we have it on the inner. And so to just be thankful for what we have and truly give thanks this year, truly give thanks for our food and the harvest of Gaia and her generative powers of life and love, and ask how we are meant to give this year, how we're meant to serve on this planet, and receive the initiation that Thanksgiving is meant to have, and shine light on Black Friday. Shine light to all humanity and show humanity through the power of your own feeling force that we have everything we need. There doesn't have to be a frenzy. It's really important to say, and to close this out, and then I'm going to say a quote to end it. We have the power of divine will. So none of this means that we don't act. None of these teachings are about standing by and doing nothing. None of these teachings are about being in denial. Absolutely. Take action. Use the force of love. Use the force of divine will. Build buildings. Create resources. Create organizations. Join with other people. Be active and be busy. It's the flow of life, but do it guided from the divine will of the soul, not from an agenda of this planet. Don't be influenced by the agenda that's being sent out. Draw the agenda from the power of life itself, and life, the true power of life, knows nothing but supporting and taking care of its own and allowing everyone the opportunity to grow, to learn, to expand, and to heal, and to know the truth of unity and oneness with the God source. And so to end the video, I want to just read the 4th line in the pattern on the trestle board. This is something I work with a lot at Art of the Feminine, but the 4th line is incredibly powerful and has a lot of wisdom. From the exhaustless riches of its limitless substance, I draw all things needful, both spiritual and material. This is the truth about the self. From the exhaustless riches, this is the truth about the substance of life. It's exhaustless. The waters of life are exhaustless, and we're here to understand how to work with them. From the exhaustless riches of its limitless substance, the substance of life is limitless, and that is the truth. I draw, meaning I magnetize from the heart's magnet within, all things needful. I project it onto the screen of consciousness, all things, both spiritual and material. And that is the line of Jupiter on the tree of life. And that is the line. It's no joke. It's no coincidence that Jupiter, joke, a J word, Jupiter's day is Thursday. Jupiter represents spiritual abundance and spiritual and material prosperity. Thanksgiving falls on a Thursday, and that's no coincidence. It's the energy of abundance and the energy of love, power through love and through wisdom. And so I just want to wish everyone a really, really happy Thanksgiving, and a moment to celebrate your individual connection with life and with love and power and unity. And each one of us has the sovereign ability to create all that we need. And may you go forward on this day knowing that and experiencing that. And so until next time, I send you many, many blessings. And just for the end of this video, I want to announce that Art of the Feminine